Welcome to the Fatherhood News Podcast. Please follow us here and subscribe to us on YouTube for your daily news headlines of all the news from the fatherhood space in Elite Dangerous. Here are today's headlines on the 8th of December 3306. Good evening, I am Jim Cooper.
And I'm Hannah Williams. We start today's broadcast with the news that due to the political tensions and combat bond adjustments earlier this week, anti-Xeno patrols have reduced dramatically. In an effort to entice independent commanders, a historic all-faction initiative has agreed that all Xeno bonds will increase by a factor of 4.
Professor Ophelia Kaufman, head of economics at Orion Independent University, when questioned stated that it is hardly surprising that every faction now places a greater premium on protecting their citizens from the Xenos threat. And in war news, the forces of LHS 1483 Values Party continue to surprise the Bodhiba Interstellar. For a second cycle, the defenses of Cooperative Culture Ministry continue to crumble as more independent commanders join the fight, looking to feed their bloodlust and line their pockets with credits, with some experts estimate that the forces of Bodhiba Interstellar are overwhelmed by a factor of 3 to 1.
V491 per se networks forces continue to test the defenses of V491 per se progressive parties, Shakur's Folly planetary outpost. This civil war will not end with talks or a peaceful resolution, as tensions between the two parties have been escalating for over 4 years now.
In election news, after a strong start in the dual election for Slim Chromium Drilling and Wolf Ring, the Green Party of Antobri took a major setback with reports of beluga liners filled with out-of-system voters touring the facility of Slim Chromium Drilling, a key battleground in this election.
The tour then moved on to Wolf Ring, a civilian outpost that is the home of Social DP Camilla Pardalis Values Party. However, these voters could not stay and admire the sights for too long, and made their way to Reynolds Beacon to cast their vote, before seeing their awaiting families that were waiting for them in the arrival area. Supported and loved ones waved from the habitation buildings, excited that support has finally come.
Finally entering Gidzenko City for the press event that was hosted by the PR team of Social DP Camilla Pardalis Values Party, supporters on the ground were welcomed by the head of PR Robert Owen, that repeated the benefits of the Social DP Camilla Pardalis Values Party to the awaiting crowd.
As you can see, our leadership have kindly sourced these amazing beluga liners for all our out-of-system voters. This is the kind of prosperity that we want to bring to the Antobri star system. So please, tour our ships and enjoy the best snake gin and albino quechua manatee served on a bed of jarroa rice. And remember, vote for the Social DP Camilo Pardalis Values Party.
Suai sang the newest star system of the Fatherhood, a small extraction and refinery system that welcomed the investment of the Fatherhood earlier, has now turned on the Fatherhood and refused to allow the Fatherhood military to operate a recruitment base in Morgan Terminal.
The local election commission was asked to mediate the talks between the Fatherhood and Confederation of Suai Singh. However, these talks have collapsed, and to prevent a war, an election is now well underway, with the Fatherhood voter turnout hitting a record number for any election in this small star system's history. Now here is Tamaya Sutton in our ongoing segment, The Distant Return.
With a sly smile on his face, he looked on his left-hand side. Mad Dog MacD can see this is the last jump to waypoint 5. His frame shift drive charged. He maxed out his throttle and jumped. There she is, an O-type star, its purple-blue light filling his cockpit with a hue that turned the black of space into a majestic light show that reminded him of his past adventures with the Distant Worlds 2 expedition. After mapping and plotting the local star systems, it was time to plot waypoint 6. As the route continued to be calculated, he turned on Galnet to hear what's been happening at home. News of the Marlinist attacks and the saber rattling of the Federation and Empire was just too depressing. As he poured himself a cup of CD-75 Kitten brand coffee, he thought, "Glad I am out here rather than dealing with the BS that seems to be going on. It was way too much drama. The only drama that happens here is what I created for myself, and that's the way I like it."
LP 128-9 Group, family of Ashandras and the Fatherhood, have all suffered infrastructure failure today in their limpet sorting division. This has been blamed on an update to the firmware of the collector limpets that was meant to install an experimental upgrade that would have allowed the limpet to be used as both a collector as well as a hatch breaker.
The limpet started to identify organic matter as void opals, and after collecting the organic matter, it proceeded to attempt to open in it. A number of citizens working in the sorting division have fallen foul of this issue, and the Fatherhood News understands that all three factions are attempting to roll back the upgrade. However, some casualties are to be expected until all limpets either are identified or expire.
Finally calling all Blue Squad races, this Sunday, December 13th, Commander Odsokita invites you to Gliese 3299C3B at the Ice Geysers Tourist Beacon. For a high-octane, speed canyon racing, this event is both in the air and on land, so bring your ship launch fighters, SRVs or even your Eagles. TFCS Lightyear will provide support, and we will bring you footage of this event in the show on Monday. Question is, will Red and Green Squad take up the challenge and try and prove once and for all who is the fastest squad in the Fatherhood?
I must say, I am a die-hard Green Squad fan. I hope they step up to the challenge.
Please, Blue Squad, always bring the heat. No way will Green Squad even place in the top 3.
I don't know why we are having this conversation. Red Squad will dominate this. You will see. Go 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 Red.
Well, let's see who was right on Monday. For the Fatherhood News, I've been Jim Cooper.
And I'm Hannah Williams. And I'm Tamaya Red Sutton. Remember, commanders, don't dream of the stars, fly amongst them. Thank you and good night.